Hello. What's up, guys? Welcome to a new live streaming. Today we are going to start a new Hack the Box machine. This time it will be the one called Forest. Let's have a look. I will start sharing my screen. Oh yeah, I need to log in. So give me 1 second. So today we are gonna be doing some Active Directory machine for the OSCP preparation. I would say that this machine is really good because it's, let's say, it has some basic things. Hello, what's up? So yeah, we are going to why it doesn't log in. Yeah, I put an extra letter. So like I said, we are going to do Forest. It's a very interesting machine. It's a retired machine. I think it's a good start to, let's say, to test your knowledge in Active Directory and to prepare your checklist and so on in Active Directory. So I did this machine on. Sorry for the sound, it's a little bit heavy. So I did this machine like 6 years ago, quite some time. But yeah, I think it's a great machine. We are gonna basically perform some enumeration, doing and using some tools, open source tools like Enum for Linux or the Inpacket tools and so on. So the idea is to enumerate the Active Directory, grab some information from that, and then export that information to BloodHound and see the path that we can follow to get administrator in the domain. So yeah, let's go. I'm already connected to the VPN on my Kali Linux, so we are gonna need to spawn the machine. Oh, sorry, I am doing browse. Actually, this is a really interesting machine. Hopefully I will finish it, I don't know, soon. And then yeah, hopefully I will be able to post the write-up after the machine is retired on my blog. So we are spawning already the machine. Be prepared. So try to open your note-taking tool and so on, and try to get as much as possible of information and tools and steps that we are gonna be doing. And yeah, let's open our Kali Linux. So here I have my Kali Linux, the VPN is connected. So one of the first things that I like to do, at least it's on my checklist, is nmap scan. So, but we will need to wait until you know, the machine is up to have the IP. So as you can see, it's very interesting because I the category that I used on this machine, or the flag, I chose too hard on both of them. I remember when I started on Hack the Box, it was really interesting. Every single easy machine or whatever thingy I was doing around Hack the Box, it was too like really difficult. But now, well, it's kind of okay. I enjoy doing machines and you know, trying to test my skills and knowledge. So we will be fine. Okay, so we have the IP, and like I said, one of the first things we should be doing on a pen test, or let's say this CTF source machine should be TCP scan. So we are gonna use this command that basically will help us to make the discovery of all the open ports running on the TCP protocol. So the first view that we are having right now is the basic ports of a Windows machine that has the domain controller or the Active Directory installed. And so yeah, let's wait until the full scan finish, and then we will be able to see some basic information from the Active Directory, like domain name, name of the server, and so on. So then we will be able to update our host file and then properly communicate with the domain. Let's take some water. We need to be drinking. So, you know, Active Directory, I would say, is some of the technologies that I really like when I'm doing, let's say, offensive security. Honestly, I feel better with red teaming stuff or that kind of things instead of web application pen testing or mobile phone or mobile applications pen testing instead of yeah. So I prefer network and Active Directory, Linux, and so on. So quick view. We have already the output of our scan. We have the 53 port open, usually related to the DNS service on the domain controller. We have a pretty good view of the LDAP as well with the port 389. Also, RPC 135 is open. We have information about the domain as well. Is http.local. Okay, what else we have here? We have some information about SMB. We have the NetBIOS computer name is Forest, and also we have the FQDN of the server. So this is important information because now we will need to update our host file on our Linux. So we are gonna use nano to modify our. We can just delete this and add our new host from HackTheBox. So now we are gonna add forest.http.local and also just the domain. Okay, cool. So now we already know, let's say, the domain name and the server's name. So another thing I really like to do when I'm doing or working with Active Directory is to try to enumerate the shared folders, because time to time there can be some juicy information. So I highly recommend to look for shared folder. How we can do this? We are gonna be using, of course, you should be taking note of these things. So I will, maybe for the next live streaming, I will prepare it with a note-taking method. But for this one, I will just make reminders of that you should be taking notes of every single output of command that we are executing. So another thing I like to do, like I said, is enumerate the shared folders of every single let's say Active Directory that I'm working with or doing the pen test. So one of the tools that we can use would be SMB client. Then with the option -L and the IP, or could be also the name, forest.htp.local. And then if we press enter, it will make an anonymous login. So with the anonymous login, we don't have any information, as you can see here. Okay, so I will just move this here. I think if I remember correctly, this was like this. Nope. So yeah, we can use SMB client to enumerate. We can also enumerate the shared folders with crackmap exec, for example. Let's see. Let me check. Or net. How was it? Yeah. You know, a bit. With net exec. So we have net exec as well. So we can use as example net exec, and how we are going to let's say enumerate the share folder would be net exec SMB, the IP or the name, in this case forest.htp.local / shares -- shares. Then it will make this anonymous authentication, but here we will have more information. As we can see, it gave us some information about the operative system and also the name of the server and the domain that contains the server. So another option that we can do is try to log with or make the login with a guest user. Also, it's very important because sometimes we will have access as guest. So we will provide the user guest and the password empty, and then it will try to authenticate as guest. This is important. Most of the Active Directory, there is the policy to disable the guest user. So yeah, most of the time we won't have any access with the guest. In case that we have a user, we can use actually this command to be able to enumerate the share folders with the credentials. Another important tool would be Enum for Linux. It will, let's say, make a basic enumeration on any Active Directory. So we are gonna use it. With the IP. I will quickly switch to this terminal. Let's clean it up. Enum for Linux as A. This is the IP. Enter. So it will start to enumerate the whole domain. It will try to make some different basic communication. It will try to enumerate the domain, the users, through different methods using basic or empty user and for example, in this case, the authentication has been made as anonymous, let's say, without user and password, as you can see here, because the server allows to make this kind of authentication. So yeah, we don't have information about the operative system we're running, but something very important is that we were able to run and detect groups, users, the password policy, and so on. And that's very important because we will have a quick view or quick way to know how the Active Directory is configured. So we are gonna leave running the script, and we are gonna focus on the users. So something that we are gonna need right now is to export or make a list of the users that we have found. So we are gonna focus on the user list. We are gonna focus on this list here, and we are gonna try to save it and work with that machines. Machines. This is forest. Nano users.txt. We are gonna copy this here, and then we are gonna try to cut it. We are gonna use this, and then grab this. Okay. Now, okay, and then we are gonna cut it again. And we are gonna use this again. We are gonna use this. Now, so this now that we have the users already without any kind of string, we can save it on. I don't know. We can just overwrite or not. Let's ad users.txt. Now we have all the ad users, and we can go through the output of the script that is already finished. We have the password policy. This is actually good information because some policies can be weak, and then we can try to, let's say, brute force based on this information. For example, we can see what's the policy regarding the minimum password age, the lockout account. Then we can more or less set up some time or time gap between our brute force attacks and so on without blocking any user. So we have the groups. I guess we can see the usual groups here. Nothing special. Yeah, built-in groups membership, also nothing special. Yeah, local groups, same thing. Domain groups, I would say there is test. Okay, maybe that's something not that usual. But more or less, we have the same information, right? Let's say that the natural movement on Active Directory would be try basic things like low hanging fruits to try to detect the most basics or basic attacks on Active Directory. That would be, for example, let me open my notes. Could be, for example, I have it here. We have AS minus rep roasting, Kerberos roasting, extracting tickets, and so on. That would be the main thing that we should be trying. And we are gonna try AS minus rep roasting. And how we are gonna do that, since we have, for example, if we didn't have any kind of list of users, this attack will be really hard because we don't know any kind of information from the Active Directory. Then we will need, for example, to create a brute force. Well, we will need to brute force and try to guess the users that exist on the on that Active Directory. Then extract a list, and then we can try to perform AS rep roasting. I'm not going to enter to explain that technique, but what I'm gonna say is to be able to exploit that configuration, because it's not a vulnerability, there should be an account with Kerberos pre-authentication disabled. Okay, usually those accounts are service accounts, right? So if we analyze the output of our tool Enum for Linux, we will see that one account pop-ups to our eye because it stands, or it has in the name, a standard for services account, right? So there is a SVC alfresco, ¿vale? So this is a great hint that maybe that account is vulnerable to ASREP roasting. So once we have our list, we will try to perform using in Pocket get NPU users and try to maybe extract the hash and then try to brute force it. Okay, so first, we are gonna use in Pocket. In this case, like I said, get NPU users. We are gonna specify the domain. We are gonna specify the user file, in this case aduser.txt. We are gonna specify the DC IP, in this case is the IP from the machine. We are gonna specify that we want to do the request, and then we are gonna save the output in case that we find any hash, right? So we are gonna launch the command. Okay, why? User, is this one? Users file. Why? Okay. Interesting. Why it doesn't recognize? It's here. Users file. Okay, maybe it's because I'm escaping this. Okay, cool. So now it's trying to detect the Kerberos pre-authentication, and there you go. We have found. Okay, sorry guys, I will switch and run it again from the other terminal. Close this, and then let's make it bigger. We are running here, and we are gonna save it. And then, as we saw before, the service account SVC alfresco, it's vulnerable to ASREP roasting. So what would be the next? Now? So here is a hash. Okay, it's a Kerberos hash, and we can use a well-known tool called Hashcat to brute force this hash. Okay, so what we can do, for example, when we don't know a hash, or for example we want to use Hashcat but we don't know what would be the hash, or what would be the type of hash. Something that we can do is basically copy this, right? Then go to our browser, and then Hashcat. There is a wiki. We can search for it, and we will have which kind of hash we are working with. As you can see here is Kerberos 5 E-type 23 ASREP, and the ID for that type is 18,200. So the next thing we are gonna do is check that the hash is here, is saved on our file, and then we are gonna run Hashcat pointing or specifying the ID for the type of hash that we are trying to crack. We are gonna specify the file where we have saved our hash, and then the dictionary that we wanna use. In this case, we are gonna use Roku, because usually hack the box machines are crackable with Roku, so you don't need to password, leaked passwords, Roku, yeah. Okay, I didn't. Oh, yeah. So I would need to quickly share password. I don't remember actually how I was using help. Okay, so tar. I think it was like this. Yeah, I need sudo privilege. Okay, now that we have our Roku, we can just try to brute force the hash that we found. So now we are running hashcat, trying to brute force the hash that we found for the user SBC alfresco. Yeah, it will take some time. So meanwhile, we are gonna set up some servers here. We are going to set up our web server. We are gonna help. Okay, so we have the first server, then we are gonna prepare another one. This would be SP server. We are gonna move to the hack the box machines forest, and then here we are gonna create the AD enum folder. We are gonna go here, and then we are gonna execute our SMB server on this. Okay, so now we were able to crack our hash. As you can see here, the password for the account SBC alfresco is service. So great, we can save the password. Okay, yeah, save it here, save the file, and then let's try to basically log in on the Active Directory with this account. What we can use here is a well-known tool known in the market or in the cybersecurity world is called EvilWinRM. It's a great tool because it allows us to connect through WinRM to any single machine. Always if we have of course, the credentials. So this is the GitHub. If you didn't know this tool, please save it and use it as whenever you want or you have the possibility. So next. So we have some credentials. So we are gonna use EvilWinRM. Specify the IP. We can. I think I don't remember the IP, so I will copy here. That -u SBC alfresco p service. So let's see if we can log in. Okay, so we got access to the, let's say we got the foothold into this Active Directory machine. How we were able to do this? So basically the machine, we were able to enumerate the machine with enum for Linux. Probably RPC was open, and then we were able to detect the users, make a list of users, and then test the user for ASREP roasting. What that means is basically that the account SBC Alfresco has the Kerberos pre-authentication deactivated. So it's why, and also this account has a not complex password, and we were able to crack it. So then it's why we were able to get our foothold on this machine. So yeah, so the basic thing that we need to do is check more things here. Probably the flag is in desktop. It is. So what would be the next movement here? Once we get the foothold on the machine, let's say on a pen test where we are allowed to make noise, would be running the BloodHound collector. Okay, the BloodHound collector, if you are not familiar, is a tool that ingesting from data that we are gonna collect using some ingester. The ingester are some binaries that help us to execute some LDAP queries and enumerate automatically the Active Directory. Will help us to identify sensitive groups, user with extra privilege, and so on. So what we are gonna do is, first of all, we are gonna run our BloodHound. So to do that, where is here? You know, I take notes of everything. So I will run my Docker that has my BloodHound, and then we are going to open BloodHound. So okay, it's not running yet. Let's see. Okay, it should be. Why is not running now? Good. So now that we have already prepared our BloodHound, we can. It's why I prepared my web server and my SMB server. We are gonna be downloading the collectors. So my collectors are on my GitHub repository on my offensive security tools, specifically on the folder AD, and there should be sharphound.exe. Okay, so to be able basically to gather information from the Active Directory, there is different collectors. We can use the .exe one or the PowerShell one. We can test the PowerShell one, for example. So we are going to use download AD slash and then the name of the file we wanna download, and there you go. We are going to use IWR. Yup. We are going here. Of course, another thing that we can do is use the command upload or whatever it's called. Home. Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't work, so I would prefer to use this. This one, I will just delete this. Okay, before doing this, I'm gonna move to another. Oh no. Yeah. Sorry. So as you can see, I was able to download the file. So now it should be on here. What we are going to do is to execute or bypass the PowerShell restriction of executing scripts. Pass. So now we have the terminal. We are going to import the module that has SharpHound. Let's see. I hope. Yeah. So because I was no. So now should be fine. Now we can import the module. Now the module is imported. So what we can do with the collector called SharpHound is invoke BloodHound. We are gonna, or we want to use the collection method all because we want to extract all the information from our Active Directory. Yeah, who is this guy? Well, yeah, I don't know how to. Yeah, someone posted something on on the chat promoting something. Yeah, but since I'm not logging, I don't have the sign in on the OBS, I cannot report it or something. Yeah, I will try to have it next time and delete that guy from or that comment. So like I was saying, invoke BloodHound collection method all because we want all the information, and of course we are going to let's say select where we want the output, and in this case output directory C users SBC Fresco documents. So I want the output there. Enter. It will take some time to collect that information, and this will generate a zip file with the Active Directory information, and that zip file contains JSON files that contains on JSON format all that information, and that information will be imported on our BloodHound, and in a visual method we are going to be able to trace back the next step. Meanwhile, I will try to log in on my Twitch and then see if I can report the user that was doing spam on the chat. Okay. Chat settings. Yeah, honestly, no idea of how I can delete the guy from the chat. So I will try to investigate that the next time. So yeah, our command is already done. So we are going to documents there, and there you go. Here is our zip file with the information. So with this zip file, like I said, we are gonna download the file. For that, we are gonna use my SMB server that is running here. And as you can see, here are some examples. If you are curious about how these two commands works, they are on my repository. They are aliases on my terminal. So go to my repository, you will see there my aliases, so you can just go through it and copy and paste, or feel free to do whatever you think you want with that information. So yeah, we are gonna use netuse to connect to my machine. My machine, where it is? Here it is. Yeah, close this thing. Netuse. Share. David. User. I think should be this. Not sure. Yeah. So enter. So there is. We already mounted the share. So now we are gonna be able to copy the file through SMB. Copy. Done. And then we are gonna specify the share. Oops, I left one. Now this should be copy on our folder. We can verify that here. Pack the box, assigns, forest, AD enum, and there you go. Here is the information. Hopefully I will be able to import this information, because sometimes it's driving me crazy. The version that you have on your BloodHound could be not equal to your collector, and then you have this mess around. So hopefully I will be able to import the information. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, I messed up there. Now, upload, close, status ingesting. So finger crossed. Sometimes, yeah, you know, I've been some time without checking the collectors and everything, and this is yeah, I installed this recently, so I hope the data will be there. By the way, let me know if you like the music on the background. I don't know if you can listen the music. I try to you know, fit the vibe, so let me know. Ingesting. Hopefully it will not break. It will take some time. You can see the CPU raising up here. So what's going on with the people in the chat? How is going? Are you learning something new? Okay, nice. We have a complete status. We can go to explore. So the first thing that I like to do most of the time is to select the user I compromise. So for that, we are gonna select SBC Alfresco, right click and add to owned. So we have this. We can basically see everything, okay, related to the to this user. I will make this a bit smaller because the chat and my webcam is just in the middle. So we have a lot of information here. We can see which kind of node is, the display name, the object ID, admin account. I guess, not sure why is this true. Created, the FQDN, domain SID, blah blah, and so on. Okay, there is session. We can trace back this account that there is a session on the forest. It's a member of account operators. That actually interesting. Being an account operator could be really interesting. It's part of the remote management users. If the user wasn't part of this group, we will not be able to use EvilWin RM to get remote access. Service account, privileged IT accounts, and domain users. This is pretty interesting, right? So we can see that maybe the user is admin. Not sure. Not sure. So this account is part of service account, privileged IT account, and then these IT accounts are part of account operators. So let's use the functionality of pathfinding, and let's try to find if there is a path to reach the domain. There you go. So from SVC, that is part of service account, where service account group is part of the privileged IT accounts, where that group is part of the account operators, where this account is part of exchange with Windows permissions, where this group has write the ACLs rights over the domain. So sorry, I missed this first part, last part, let's say. So account operators that we are members, it has generic all rights over exchange Windows permission. That means that we are able to create user, modify groups, modify user, create new groups, and so on inside this group. So once we have a controlled user here, we are gonna be able to write ACLs over the domain. So if we double click here, we can see a quick view of. I will try to zoom this thing, maybe for the chat, and yeah. So now it's way better. Like I was saying, generic all and write the ACLs, and we can have a general information about what this write or permission means. So the member of the group account operator have generic all permission to the group exchange window permission. This is something that we already know. This is also known as full control. This permission allows the trustee to manipulate the target object however they wish. So we have full control over the group called exchange windows permission. Then we have how to abuse this through Windows or through Linux, right? In this case, let's say in this live streaming, we are gonna use the the Windows method, and we are gonna be using external tools like PowerView. You can see it here. We are gonna be using this method. So the first thing we are gonna do is create a user and add it to this group. But then we have the second part. Okay, the second part, let's describe it. The members of the group exchange Windows permission have permission to modify the DACL, discretionary access control list, on the domain hackthebox or http.local. With write access to the target objects DACLs, you can grant yourself any permission you want on the object. That means that if we have the control of the exchange Windows permission group, we can create a user, and then after that we can grant over an object on that domain that would be our compromised account some rights that could be DC sync, and then dump all the credentials from the Active Directory. So what we are gonna do, the first thing we are gonna do is open our terminal, the session that we are having right now, and we are gonna create a new account. So we are gonna use net user. The name of the user would be John, and then ABC 123 exclamation add domain. So successfully we have added the new account. So we are gonna add the user to the exchange group. Here it is. this. John. We have run properly. So now local group, remote management, users, John. Because remember, when a user is not part of that group, we will not be able to access remotely. So successfully we have added the user to those two groups. So the next thing we are gonna do is we are gonna be using PowerView, the PowerView tool. Same as before, you can find that tool on my offensive security tool. We can go to AD. On AD should be PowerView, as you can see here. So we are gonna use this, download AD, and then we are gonna copy and paste the name, exactly the same, and then bam, and then we have the command already here. Copy, paste it here. Okay, now what we are gonna do is import the module. Okay, now we can run PowerView commands on the terminal, and what we are gonna do basically, we are going to be making this part. We are gonna be applying desync rights over the account that we have created from the account operator on Exchange Windows permissions, and then here we are gonna be running the following commands. So we are gonna create or run these commands, and then at the end of the command we will be able to use in packet secret dumps to dump all the credentials from the domain from the domain. So first of all, we need to convert, let's say, a string to a readable or compatible format for our domain. So we are gonna use convert to secure string, then ABC123 exclamation explain force. Convert. Now we have the password, the secure string already, so we are gonna prepare the credentials. We are gonna create a new object, system.management automation PS credentials, and then here we are gonna specify our controlled account, comma, and then the secure string. Now verify as this TP cannot find. Okay, why cannot find that? Well, I will just copy and paste this. Maybe. Okay, cool. So now we have already the credentials ready, and then with the credentials ready, we are gonna assign to ourselves the DC sync rights over the domain. So for that, we are gonna use the module add object ACL, and since we are using John credentials, that he is part of the Exchange Windows permission, we are able to add a right or new permissions to any object on the domain. Okay, so it's why we are able to add the DC sync rights over the account John. Okay, so let me know in the comments or here in the chat if you don't have this part clear. I can try to explain it again. Okay, so now we have DC rights. So now with the DC rights, we can using packet secret dump specify the domain, the account that we have control over, ABC specify the password, add, and then here we can just forest dot stb dot local, and we should be able to dump all the hashes from the domain and to dump basically the NTDS database where all the hashes for all the user are stored. What next? The next step would be try to identify as administrator. So for this, we are gonna be using the NTLM hash. Okay, for this. So what we are gonna do, we are gonna split this view, and we are gonna use another tool. We are gonna use psexec, in this case from inpacket psexec, because it allows us to perform pass the hash. So we are gonna use the user administrator forest.htb.local hashes, and we are gonna just copy and paste the whole hash here. Then once we copy that, we can why it doesn't work? Why it doesn't work? Static log is valid. Okay, why? I'm using the wrong one. I don't think so. Let's try with IP instead of. Did I copy correctly this? No. What was the IP of this? I think it was this one. Okay, it doesn't allow. So let's try with evil WinRM. WinRM. I think it was done. Administrator. Yeah. I know why it didn't work. It's because I put administrador instead of administrator. Yeah, my Spanish, it was the reason. So there you go. So if we run who am I, we are running this shell as a system. So we have access to this machine, and we can go to users, for example, the cd /users mini. I really hate this. Users cd now, and there you go. We have access to the root flag. So guys, let's make a summary of this. Actually, I really enjoyed this machine when I did it the first time, and I really enjoy it every time that I do this machine, because it somehow has the basics of doing a pen testing of on a Active Directory. So just a quick review of what we have done until now. So basically, we were able to enumerate the domain through RPC using the tool enum for Linux. That gave us a list of users that we were able to use or to identify low or basic misconfiguration on Active Directory, in this case AS rep roasting, and we were able to extract the hash for a service account called SBC Alfresco, and that hash was using a, let's say this account was using a password with low complexity, so we were able to crack it with hashcat and ROQ. After that, we ran a collector from BloodHound, and we were able to ingest that information in our BloodHound. And then from our BloodHound, we were able to use the pathfinding, and we noticed that the SBC Alfresco was part of privileged groups, and a privileged group had more rights than usual, and it allowed us to have control over another group that had more rights over the domain, and somehow we were able to apply this sync rights over our compromised account, and then dump all the credentials or the hashes from the domain. And then from that, we were able to perform pass the hash and then get access through the network using PSXEC into the domain controller and have access to the root flag. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this machine as much as I did. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you like it or not, if you like this let's say way of doing machines. Maybe you like another way of doing the machines, but I hope you learned something from here. Let me know in the chat or in the comments in YouTube later. If you need further explanation of something, I will be really happy of taking those questions to our next live streaming and try to help you. So thank you guys, and the people in the streaming. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and so on. So yeah, this is the final of the live streaming. I hope see you soon this week or maybe next week. So bye bye. Thank you too. Yeah, it's okay. I already recording the live streaming, so you will see it in YouTube. I will just show it here really quick, the channel. So this is the channel. I'm just posting everything here, and I'm creating a playlist for the OSCP preparation based on the Hack the Box machine. So if you want to check it, feel free, go here and take a look. Okay, now, yeah, this is the final statement. See you guys. Bye-bye.